This is WGN Superstation. The following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
Yesterday was the first day of the rest of the season for the Sox, and unfortunately they lost another day off the calendar, so the clock is ticking louder for the good guys, and each game becomes more and more crucial. Now Sean Lowe gets a call tonight as he has won his last two starts. Can the Sox regain their focus against the Indians? Well, one thing we know, both sides will come out swinging next on WGN. We are coming to you from Comiskey Park, where tonight WGN Sports presents White Sox baseball. As Mags Ordonez, Carlos Lee, Paul Konerko and the White Sox as they get set to host Jim Thome, Omar Vizquel, Travis Fryman, and the Cleveland Indians. Hi everybody, and welcome to beautiful Comiskey Park in the beautiful city of Chicago, Illinois. With Darren Jackson, I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you the finale of this two-game set. In the opener last night, it was Mark Buehrle against CC Sabathia. Everything was going along fine until the fourth inning. Mark gave up 5 runs, and that was just too much for the Sox to overcome as Cleveland won at 9-4. So the Sox had their 5-game winning streak snapped. They are now 46-46 at 500 and trying to get back over once again with Sean Lowe.
And Sean Lowe has been out there dealing, let's say, over his last 2 starts. He's thrown 15 innings, only given up 9 hits, 2 runs. 1 walk allowed. So he's been throwing the ball very well. He's the guy they need to get going again. He's wanted to be out in that starting rotation. He's proven he deserves it. So continue on tonight, Sean. Keep throwing that ball well.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. It'll be Sean Lowe against Dave Bourbon. DJ will be back with the rest of the starting lineups right after this.
Chicago White Sox baseball brought to you by Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. Your local Ford store. Quality people, quality products. Pepsi, the joy of Pepsi. And by Toyota, a better way every day.
Welcome back to Comiskey Park. Time right now to have a look at Charlie Manuel's starting lineup. Getting things started will be center fielder Kenny Lofton, followed by the shortstop Omar Vizquel. Batting third is the second baseman Roberto Alomar, and you see he has been hot. Number 4 hitter Jim Thome, followed by the right fielder Marty Cordova. The DH tonight, Will Cordero. At third base, Travis Fryman, and in left field, Russell Branyan. Doing the catching, Einer Diaz. The joy of Pepsi defense is Lee, Singleton, Ordonez, Leifer, Clayton, Durham, Konerko, and doing the catching, Mark Johnson. On the hill is Sean Lowe. Sean Lowe's numbers, take a look at them. 5-1, 2.37 ERA. Time right now as Kenny Lofton digs a hole for Hawk to take it away.
All right, DJ, thank you. And the first pitch of the ball game, there's a bunt. Somebody's got to hurry. That is a good bunt, and just in time. Nice play, Sean Lowe.
I'll say that is amazing. He got off that hill and just kind of winged it over to first base and threw it right on the money. Kenny Lofton very surprised. Also surprised that Paul Konerko didn't give a heck of a lot of a stretch over there, and they just barely got him.
Everything had to be executed perfectly. And so happy you could join us right here over WGN Sports for the finale of this brief 2-game set as Omar Vizquel hitting at .266, a homer. He's driven in 24. Takes strike 1. Omar 1 for 4 last night, 2 for 8 lifetime against Sean Lowe. This is Sean's 4th start, and this is 26th appearance. 1-0 this year against Cleveland, 2-0 lifetime. So the Indians come in at 53-39. They're just 3 games back of Minnesota, who are hosting the Athletics at the Humphrey Dome tonight. Indians hitting at .291 as a club with a 4.58 ERA. And this is the 7th meeting of the year between these two ball clubs. Sox in the first 6 have won 4 of them. That's hit hard into the gap. Nobody's going to get that one. So now that play by Sean Lowe really looms large as Vizquel on his way to third. He will get there with his 3rd triple of the season.
That's a little short, quick swing. 0-2 from Vizquel. Mistake by Sean Lowe. That kid fielding that bunt perfectly. Really pays off right there. The outfield was playing up. Had to take a deep angle to get to that ball. Vizquel easily into third base because of it.
So here's Alomar. 2 for 5 with a homer and 2 RBIs last evening. Sox bring the infield in. Alomar at 357. 13 homers. He's driven in 61. All right, Feisty, what's Sean Lowe going to have to do to beat these guys tonight?
You and I talk about how they're a veteran team that makes outstanding adjustments. I think Sean Lowe, if he pitches in, is going to establish himself early.
I'm with you. The Indians are a ball club. You try to pitch them away, they're going to, for the most part, unless you are just pinpoint, they're going to beat your brains out.
Well, Sean Lowe's a good pitcher, so he can pitch in and establish that inside, even with his good curveball, especially the lefties.
2-1 the count.
I think if he pitches that fastball in and then throws his tight curveball starting on the inner part, you might get a couple of lefties swinging over the top of it.
Good pitch right there in on the fist. Just ate him up. You mentioned Indians hitting at 291 with that 4.58 ERA. As you take a look at that last pitch, see Mark Johnson setting up, and Mark's just going to, I'm check that Sean is just going to fill that mid up if Alomar hadn't hit it. You're going to double him up. There's that curveball. Indians on the road this year have been real good. They are 29-18, and at Jacobs Field they are just 24-21.
See Roberto Alomar on the road. He just tears a cover off the ball.
Turns it over and the count goes full. Jim Thome on deck.
Alomar batting .471 with runners in scoring position. Well, he's just doing a whole lot of things offensively, leading the league and hitting.
There's a shot right to Leifer. Can't get there quite in time to double up Vizquel, but 2 down.
And we catch a break because Alomar swinging a hot bat. Just hit that one right at somebody, right on the button.
So here's another guy who's been red hot, Jim Thome. The man from Peoria. Here are his numbers: 295, 28, and 74. He had a 3-run homer last night. I mean, he just killed it. Got a 3-2 hanging breaking ball from Mark Burley, something that Mark has not done very often lately, and Thome did not miss it. Here's a good strike on the inner half.
Well, Thome has hit 8 home runs in his last 16 ball games, so definitely swinging a hot bat.
Indians have 131 home runs. Sox have 118. Downstairs, 2-1. Here at Comiskey Park, 330 down the left field line, 372 in left center, 400 straightaway center, 377 in right center, and 335 down the right field line. Could not check it up. John's got that real easy motion, and you'll see the numbers on the screen won't be that high, anywhere from 87 to 90, 91 occasionally. But with his delivery, after he shows you that slow curveball and makes a couple of pitches inside, hopefully like DJ was alluding to, that thing looks a lot quicker than 87 to 91. That's trouble. Carlos Lee can't get there. So that'll be a ground rule double for Thome as Vizquel scores, and it's 1-0 Indians.
Well, just some hard luck right there. Sean Lowe made a nice pitch. Thome just muscles it off of his hands, flares it down that left field line. It's a 2-out double driving the run.
Well, that tailed out over the plate at the last moment, and that's what enabled Thome to keep it fair. So here's the right fielder, Marty Cordova. Tommy now with 17 doubles as he gets a hanging breaking ball right there. You don't want to do that. Very, very veteran ball club. Youngest man in the lineup, Russell Branyan at 25. Everybody else is 28 and over. Lofton 34, Vizquel 34, Alomar 33, Thome 30, Cordova 32, Cordero 29. That's foul. And Fryman 32.
You got Marty Cordova hitting .333 with runners in scoring position, .323 on the season, and .331 on the road. He really hit the ball well on the road. 6 home runs on it, away from home, and 32 RBIs.
One and two the count. Two and two. And checking out the men in blue tonight behind the plate, it'll be Mark Barron. Bruce Froemming, the crew chief at first, Jerry Meals at second, and Phil Cousy over at third. Two out, Thome at second, the 2-2 pitch. Top down. And we want to send out a big White Sox congratulations and thanks to Gerald Chaney, who did just a fabulous job on the national anthem. That man can sing.
Deep baritone voice.
Man, beautiful. Yeah. Just beautiful. It's about as good as we've heard in a long time. Let up pitch. Rolls it over into the Sox dugout. One final in the American League. Anaheim beat Tampa Bay 2-1 down in St. Pete. Texas at Baltimore, scheduled doubleheader. That was postponed because of those toxic fumes from that train wreck. Here's the shot, and that's a base hit. Mag's got a chance if he gets a good throw. Off to the first base side of home, so Thome scores us 2-0. Oh, Mags was going to get him right there, Feisty.
You know, Maglio, it seems lately, well, actually most of the season, his arm has not been as strong as we've seen it in the past. Had a little bit of an arc on most of his throws, and that one was just a little bit offline. As that pitch ran a little much over the plate. He was in a good position to get rid of that ball, but the high throw offline. If it had been strike, he'd have had a good chance, but that's a long throw. It's hard to be perfectly right, accurate.
Well, Cordero takes strike one, hitting at .295, 3 homers and 13 driven in. He was 1 for 3 last night. Gap in left center. That's popped up right side. Konerko making the call. He's got the ball, and that'll do it. But the Indians put a crooked number up on the board after a half inning of play. It's Cleveland 2, and the good guys coming to bat.
It's time right now to have a look at Jerry Manuel's starting lineup, brought to you by the Joy of Pepsi. Got a top third of Durham, Singleton, and Lee, followed by Ordonez, Canseco, and Leifer. Bottom 3 of Konerko, Johnson, and Clayton. The defense is Branyan, Lofton, Cordova, Fryman, Vizquel, Alomar, and Thome around the infield. The catcher is Diaz, and Dave Burba's on the hill. Burba's numbers on the season: 8-6, 6.20 ERA. Got a complete game. His career versus the Sox, he's 5-5 with a 5.82 ERA. His last start was a no decision. He went 6 1/3, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, at 3 base on balls, and 7 strikeouts.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours, as Ray Durham will lead it off, hitting at .258, 11 homers and 36 knocked in. Ray 2 for 4 last night. Lifetime against Burba, 4 for 21 with a homer and 3 ribbies. Burba's a big man, 6'4", 240 pounds, 35-year-old veteran out of Gilbert, Arizona. Last year he was really tough. He was 3-0 against us last season. That's curveball. And what's he going to feature, Feisty?
Well, fastball, curveball, slider, and a splitty. And he just mixes it up. He just throw it inside, he'll throw it outside, up, down. He hits 4 corners. He's just not a guy that is very traditional. He just gets it, throws it, makes up stuff if he can.
And on the fist, fouls it back, so the count hangs at 0-2.
He's one of those pitchers that it's very hard to figure a pattern out on. There really isn't one. Even though he has a high ERA, he's made mistakes.
Yeah, there's got to be some reason that he is sporting that 6.20 ERA.
Yeah. Got to be because he has thrown the ball out over the plate too many times. 126 hits given up in 97 innings.
Off the corner. He's not going to overpower you. He is 27 games over in his career at 103 victories and 76 defeats. Really very similar pitchers tonight, with the exception Sean does not have that splitter.
Yeah, they're very similar. They're both pitchers.
And another souvenir.
What I mean by them both being pitchers is that they both are not hard throwing flamethrowers. They just try to hit their spots, and if they don't, they're going to get hurt.
Well, Oakland has scored a pair in the top of the first. Minnesota hitting in the bottom of the first. A couple of left-handers going in that game, Barry Zito and Eric Milton. Full count to Ray. All 4 base hit. And there's ball 4, so he walks the leadoff man. And right now, let's check out our picks to click this evening. Bill Moore, Skip Ellison, our director and crew, went with Mags, Sylvia, Alex, Ariana, going with Darren and Jeff Leifer. Casey and his girlfriend Jessica Tisco, Aaron and Julie Urban, and myself are going to go with Royce Clayton. Woo! Here's Chris at 280. 3 homers. He's driven in 19.
Chris is tied for the league lead with 10 sacrifice bunts on the season with David Eckstein of the Angels.
There's bunts going foul. Checking the rest of the slate of action around the American League. Boston at Toronto. Tigers hosting the Yankees. Seattle taking on the Royals in Kansas City. We mentioned Oakland at Minnesota. Over in the National League, got some finals over there, 5 of them. Dodgers beat the Brewers 8-6 in LA. Cardinals over Houston 4-1 at Enron. Marlins beat the Mets 8-3 at Shea. Atlanta 2, Cincinnati 1 at Synergy Field, and Montreal over Philadelphia 5-2 up in Canada. Cubs taking on the Pirates in Pittsburgh, top of the 6th. Cubs leading 1-0. Ray fakes, does not go, and there's a shot into center field. Lofton's going to have to pull up. So here come the Sox, get the first 2 men aboard.
Batting third, the left fielder, number 45, Carlos Lee.
So here's El Caballo, Carlos Lee, 298, 18 homers. He's driven in 59. Carlos 1 for 4 last night with an RBI. Drops that hook on him.
Carlos 6th in the American League, getting with runners in scoring position at 342. right at home in these situations.
Count evens at 1. Sox coming in, as we mentioned, at 46 and 46, 10 games back. Sox are 26 and 21 here at home. Had their 5-game winning streak snapped last evening, and since May 24th are 32 and 17.
And the Sox come in 19 and 19 versus Central teams they got to beat up on for the rest of the season. Gain some ground. Cleveland and Minnesota. Cleveland 24 and 14 versus the AL Central.
The 1-2 pitch. Fouls it back. And according to the Elias Sports Bureau, the Sox are the first team since 1991 when the Milwaukee Brewers did it to climb above 500 after being 15 games under at any point during the season. The 1914 world champion Boston Braves are the only team in Major League history to make the playoffs after falling 15 games under 500.
You know, I know, and everybody watching knew it was a tough road to come back from.
There's that splitter fouled over the Sox dugout, so the count hangs at 1-2. Sox will conclude this series tonight with Cleveland. Then tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, it'll be the Boston Red Sox coming to town. Where the Indians will go back home to Jacobs Field to take on the Tigers for 3, and then the Sox for 4. So starting last night, Sox 12 consecutive games against Cleveland and Boston. 2 wild card contenders. Ground ball should be. Rack him up. 2 out.
Batting fourth, the right fielder, number 30.
So very quickly,
Ordonez.
2 gone, and here comes Mags. There are the numbers on Mags. 1 for 3 last night. Drove in a couple. Lifetime against Burba, 6 for 21. No homers. And he's knocked in 2.
1 for 3. Broke a 0 for 16 slide Mags had been in.
Strike on the outside corner. Little chopper. Burba's got him. Sets. Pegs. So the Sox get the first 2 men aboard. Can't do anything with it. And after 1, it's Cleveland by 2. You got that right. 2-0 Indians here in the top of the 2nd inning. It'll be the lower third of the Tribe order. Fryman, Branyan, and Diaz to face Sean Lowe. Lowe gave up a triple, a double, and a single in the 1st inning. Travis Fryman hitting at 281, no homers. He's driven in 12. 2 for 6 lifetime against Sean with a homer.
8 for 25 on their road trip so far. This their 8th game.
That ball took a bad hop off Lefer. So Fryman starts it off. That should be a hit.
Yep. That's a double right there. Nothing you can do about it. Jeff Lefer getting over, getting himself in position to make the backhand grab, and it just hopped up and ate him up. That's just a tough hop. on a ball that was hit hard down the line.
So here's 25-year-old left fielder Russell Branyan at 231, 13 homers. He's driven in 39. Tries to bunt it, fouls it back. Branyan did not play last night. Youngster out of Warner Robins, Georgia. So he and the guy behind the plate, Mark Johnson, played against each other, played on the same team. Both from Warner Robins.
And not known for his bunting, really. So kind of surprising to see him square around.
Pulls a string and a count 0-2.
But when you're trying to move a runner along and you're struggling a bit, you do whatever it takes. In 74 games this season, he struck out 90 times.
And we're going to try to get as many emails in tonight as we can. We're going to give you our email address in just a moment. As he strikes out Branyan. That's his 91st strikeout and 222 at bats. So one out, and that'll bring up the catcher, Einar Diaz. Diaz 1 for 3 last evening, 1 for 5 lifetime off Sean.
Russell Branyan has tremendous power. As you just mentioned those numbers, is also going to strike out over a third of the time.
Jammed and made him up right there. Clayton over to Konerko, 2 out.
And here's a reminder, it's a good one. The White Sox face the Red Sox tomorrow at 7:05. Fans can sing karaoke at Miller Genuine Draft Music Night to compete for $500 and a trip to spring training in 2002. For tickets, call 312-8311-SOX and come join us at karaoke night. I know I'll appear singing with you.
You will.
Yep.
Here's Lofton. Laid down a real good bunt, and Sean made a real good play to just nip him at first base. I love karaoke.
And you're so good at it. I mean, I've heard you up here singing that 99 bottles of beer on the wall. I mean, you are a #1 at it.
You got to have some help, don't you?
Yep.
Has a strike on the inside half. 2-1. Three and 1 to count to Lofton. Well, one night while we're in Cleveland, we'll go over to my friend's restaurant, Tony Alessi's Maximilian's in Mentor, Ohio, and we'll have a little karaoke after the ball game.
We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out.
And then we'll let you sing. There's a base hit. Singleton gets to it. Boy, did a good job of saving a triple right there. Made a nice cutoff. Meanwhile, 2 doubles this inning, and it's 3-0 Indians.
That's Sean Lowe. He's already given up the 3 runs in this ball game, 2 in his previous 15 innings. Covering his last 2 starts. All right, good job, Chris. That gets by him. The angle he took. Lofton standing on third.
So 4 of the 5 hits are for extra bases as Vizquel, who tripled and scored last inning, takes a strike.
Okay.
Talking about last night how Cleveland has veteran hitters and they know how to make adjustments. Not only that, they're also good hitters. Just because you're a veteran doesn't mean that you're going to make adjustments to a pitcher. But these guys have been around a long time, a lot of these in this lineup. Most of them just outstanding contact and good hitters.
Well, they've got a great mixture in there. You got some real good fastball hitters. They got some good breaking ball hitters. Couple of switch hitters. There you can see they're first in the league in hitting, second in runs scored, second home runs, first in infield hits. That's into left field. Carlos is there. He'll make the catch, and that'll retire the side. But the Indians put another one on the board, and after an inning and a half, it's Cleveland by 3. Three nothing bad guys here in the bottom of the second inning. For the Sox, it'll be Canseco, Leifer, and Konerko to face Dave Burba. Jose hitting at 288, 5 homers. He's driven in 11, 0 for 3 last evening. He has faced in his career Burba 12 times. He has 3 hits. All of them have stayed in the park as he takes first pitch strike. Another strike on the inside corner.
Something I've noticed recently is Jose Canseco. He's crawled closer to that home plate with the back foot. He does that mostly against right-handers.
Checks it up. 1-2.
Seems like he does not against the lefties. Backs off just a little bit, probably to eliminate that slider down and in. Give himself a better chance of getting to it.
Mark Barron rings him up. Some nice pitches right there from Dave Burba.
Well, Dave Burba, veteran pitcher. He is definitely not going to be afraid to run in there on Canseco. Good movement. Catches the inside corner.
Well, if you're going to stand close to the plate, you got to protect against that inside half.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that he takes that many pitches in there, because he is right on top of the plate. You'd figure he was ready to go on anything starting in that direction.
Here's Jeff Leifer. Takes ball 1. And we got some email here, Feisty.
All right, let me hear it.
I love email. This one from Michael Woho from Raleigh, North Carolina, says, Hawking DJ, I'm wondering who was your first home run against and if it was a bomb or a cheapie. Well, we just happen to have there's a strike on the inside corner. Who was your first home run against?
Danny Jackson,
It was.
Cincinnati Reds.
What year was that?
88.
What month was it?
Don't recall.
What inning was it?
Can't remember.
What pitch was it?
Cut her down and in.
On the inside corner. And the count 2-2.
You?
I don't remember.
You do remember your first home run.
Full count.
Everybody remembers her first home run.
I remember it was a hanging slider. Here's a ground ball. Little 3-hopper. Alomar, 2 down. Well, talking about May 21st, 1988. At Cincinnati, DJ, my partner, off the southpaw Danny Jackson, and there is his first. Oh man, I tell you what. You talking about? Look at this. What'd you weigh? 145 pounds?
I hadn't hit the weights yet.
That thing just did make it hit the top back of the wall.
Hey, it was number 1. What are you going to do? All right.
So Michael, whoa, that was a cheapie. Strike on the corner to Konerko.
You guys ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Good thing they didn't have baseball games for cameras. I mean, under television situations all the time when you were playing.
They had those games with the flashes, you know, where they had to hold up a flash stick off the end of the bat. Fryman. Very easy, very quick 1-2-3 inning for Burba, and we'll go to the third, trailing by 3. As you can see, we got some problems already here going to the top of the third. And the Indians have 3 runs on 5 hits. They have 1 single, 3 doubles, and a triple. So for the Tribe, it'll be Alomar, Thome, and Cordova.
Well, this is the best time to face Roberto Alomar with nobody on base, leading off the inning. Well, actually, he'd like to do it with 2 outs. I want him getting things going.
Guys to bunt it.
That's the one thing about Roberto Alomar is he brings everything to the table offensively. He can hit home runs, he can bunt, drive the ball in the gaps, go the other way, pull it.
0-2. He can do it all.
There's not a lot of hitters that have as much ability all around in baseball, period. Defensively, offensively, and on the bases.
Again, there are a lot of people who are real big Roberto Alomar fans, and there are a lot of people who are not.
Well, he's done some things and said things in his career that got some people against him.
But beside that, regardless of that, if you're talking about from a baseball standpoint, in my opinion, one of the best players to ever play the game.
Yep.
When he wanted to play.
Yes.
Konerko, 1 out. So here comes Thome. He had an opposite field looping double. Knocked in Vizquel with 2 out in the first. I'm going to know the count. Takes it up. Here's another email from Todd Schreiber from Evanston, Illinois. Says, guys, what is the angriest or most irate that you have ever been about an umpire's call? What did it do to you? The way you reacted in the argument or the actual call itself? They don't call you feisty for nothing. I would just like to know.
Hey, unlike my partner over here, I was only ejected for 1 major league game. And that's why I was out in short right field from the home plate umpire. So I took it easy on him.
That ball hit deep into center field. Way back. It's 4-0. Number 29 for Thome. He now has 76 RBIs.
I talked about Thome in his first at bat. He has been swinging a hot bat. That now is 9th home run in his last 17 ball games. He had been sharing the home run lead with Manny Ramirez at 28. Now he's on top.
Cordova hits this ball deep in the left center field. Singleton looks up. It's 5-0. Back to back by Thome and Cordova.
Well, the Indians are just coming in here and putting some boards up in a hurry. I mean, some runs up on the board quickly against the Sox. 9 last night, 5 here into the 3rd inning. Offense pretty potent.
Well, you can't make mistakes against them. It's just that simple. Curveball. That's playable. Singleton broke back. No, it's not playable. Chris did not read that one well after those 2 home runs. Broke back, then could not recover.
Well, 3 straight pitches. You have 2 home runs and a blooper.
No activity in the Sox pen as Nardi comes strolling out.
Well, Chris Singleton, I think, a little gun shy now, was playing pretty deep, and a big swing from Cordero. When it was hit, he just froze. He had a long way to come anyway from where he was playing defensively. And I think that was just one of those balls that was hit perfectly where nobody could get to it. There's Marty Cordova. First pitch from Sean Lowe. He throws a breaking ball out over the plate. He did well, but he wasn't sure if he was going to get out of here. He took off running hard to first base.
So here's Fryman. He had a hot shot down to third. Took a bit of a bad hop off the glove of Leifer and went for a double. 5-8-0 for the Tribe. 0-1-0 for the Sox.
Well, Sean Lowe came in 2-0 versus the Indians in his career. He did have a 5.40 ERA. So even though he has not had a loss against the Indians, they have put some runs up on the board against him, and doing it again tonight.
Three and 0. Gave him the green light.
Well, 5 runs nowadays, and the Sox have been playing good baseball. Is no big deal. You expect, especially here in the 3rd inning, aggressive hitters to go ahead and swing away 3-0 and try and put a team away for good.
So the first walk issued by Sean. Now the phone down in the pen rings. So we're going to have some activity as Russell Branyan struck out his first trip. 2 on, 1 out, 2 in. Rookie right-hander Matt Ginter, Mississippi State. Big hack by Branyan.
All right, now Sean Lowe, you got to shake it off and just say, you know what, I want to stay aggressive and go after these guys. If they hit me, they hit me. He can't start picking at the corners and trying to be careful. If you just have a bad game, you get blown away, you just walk away and say, all right, I'll get him back next time.
Well, what we might be seeing right here is it's only his 4th start of the season, and this is 26th appearance. We might be seeing the results of the previous 2 starts when he was just so outstanding. I have a bit of a tired arm. Didn't seem to have the pop, obviously, that he's had the last couple of outings.
He's got career high. Two starts back, 8 innings. Last start, 7 innings.
A ball deep in the center field. Singleton at the fence. He's there, makes the catch. Right up against that 400-foot sign. So Cordero tags, goes into 3rd, 2 down.
Yeah, Branyan, if he'd have got it, it'd have been halfway up there on the backdrop. He hit it off the end of the bat just a little bit, because Branyan can hit it as far as anybody swinging a baseball bat. Chris just gets back there, puts his hand against the fence, reaches up right at the top of it.
So Einar Diaz, a catcher. Grounded out to Royce Clayton.
We talk about the residuals from Sean starts. His last 3 starts.
That's trouble. That's fair. Cordero scores, and it's 6-0.
Sean's last 3 starts have all been career high in innings. So you're right. It could just be catching up to him a bit. You can see he's making more mistakes tonight than he has in his previous 2 starts.
Tries to backdoor him. Lofton hitting for the 3rd time here in the top of the 3rd inning. Has an RBI double.
One thing we can't forget is Burba comes in with a 6.20 ERA.
Well, there's plenty of time to score 6 or more runs if the mindset will allow it.
That's it.
That's into center field. But 3 more runs are going to cross the plate. Scored 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 3 here in the top of the 3rd after 2.5. Cleveland by half a dozen. All right, WGN Sports tail of the tape, bottom of the 3rd, as all the good folks from the Illinois State Lottery and throwing out one of the first pitches in this ball game this evening. Laurie Montana, director of the Illinois Lottery. Southpaw. But right here we got some work to do. Plenty of time to get it done. Mark Johnson will lead it off. He'll be followed by Royce Clayton and Ray Durham. Takes the bunt, takes the ball.
That's the right approach. Mark Johnson going up there, squaring around, get some infielders moving. Need base runners right now.
Count evens at 1.
A lot of times teams tend to. You see Burba has got some good run support on the season. Teams tend to, when they get down, start swinging for the long ball, trying to get them back one at a time.
Now when you got 7 innings to play, you can just take your time and just try to stay inside your plan if you have one, and try to get something done.
Just peck away.
Into center field, Lofton going back. He's there.
And a reminder, tomorrow is Miller Genuine Draft Music Night when the White Sox host the Red Sox at 7:05. The first 15,000 fans will receive White Sox kazoos, enjoying White Sox organist Nancy Faust and the world's largest kazoo rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game during the 7th inning stretch. For tickets, call 312-831-1SOX. And Hawk will be up here with his kazoo, joining right in.
Here's Royce. I will.
I thought I heard you say that earlier.
No, you didn't hear me say that earlier.
I could be mistaken, but for some reason
You are mistaken.
I could have swore I heard you say that you were going to join in with Nancy.
Well, if Nancy's down there, I'll join in. The old kazoo. 2-0 the count to Royce. 2 for 3 last night. 8 for 22 lifetime off Burba with a homer and 5 RBIs. Strike on the outer half. All right, start us off right here with 1 out. And that's a fair ball. Tommy makes the play. Burba right where he should be. 2 down. And here's another email. This from Brian Byer from Lindenhurst, Illinois. Says, I was wondering who was the most intimidating pitcher that both of you have ever faced. Most intimidating pitcher you ever faced?
I'll go with Rob Dibble. Rob Dibble threw about 100 miles an hour, had a real wild and crazy motion. Looked like he had no idea where it was going. And usually you only face him for 1 at bat, and you said, all right, well, just look for the ball right down the middle. If he throws it, hit it.
Hit him before he hits you, huh? As there's a strike to Durham.
That was the idea. What about you?
Faced a lot of them. That's fouled, and that's going to be out of play. He faced a lot of guys. Nolan Ryan, Seaver, Koufax, Bob Gibson, Marichal, Gaylord Perry. I think the most intimidating pitcher, the toughest I ever faced was Mo Domowski, on me, but the most intimidating was Don Drysdale. Even in spring training. Up high, 1-2.
Well, when you talk about intimidating, you're talking about the whole thing, the package, the big man out there that you know is not afraid to throw one inside if you make him upset.
Ground ball right side. Burba. 1-2-3 inning. He has retired 8 in a row. We're into the 4th, trailing by 6. 6-0 Cleveland here in the top of the 4th inning as Omar Vizquel just hit the first pitch from Sean Lowe. A little pop up into right field, 1 out, and that'll bring up Roberto Alomar. And joining us in the booth right now is Karen Stack-Umlauf. And Karen, welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
You guys are trying to accomplish something here in the great city of Chicago.
We certainly are. We'd love to bring a WNBA here to the Chicago fans. We feel like on our own initiative, we're really trying to go after this. We feel there's a great market out here for it, but people have just got to call us up over at the Bulls office, give their $100 deposit, and we're looking for 7,500 of those season ticket deposits in order to show the league that we'll really have the support we need here.
Well, is that a definitive number, or is that just a number that could be as far as just you getting the support? Because I've been reading a lot about it in the newspapers lately that they definitely want it very hard, very much to get one here in Chicago.
Well, I think they came up with that 7,500 to know that we would really be successful then. And those would be the real fans that want to come out and they're laying their money down without having a team in place, without knowing the players really or a coach. So I know for the past 4 or 5 years as the WNBA has been coming around, people constantly come up and say, when is Chicago going to get a team? And I say to those people now, please support us and please put up your money, because really that's the only way we're going to get a team here right now.
Well, how many teams are there altogether?
There are 16 teams in the league, and it only makes sense that with such a great market like Chicago, we should have one here.
2 out to Jim Thome. Thome has doubled in a run. He also has homered his 29th of the season, so now 29 homers, 76 RBIs. Well, you guys have really been, lately, as I should say, you've got to get more of that out there from my perspective as just a fan of the awareness of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, we certainly are trying to do that by doing things like being here tonight. And we're really trying to get out in the community and the basketball camps and just really stress to the families how it is such a great atmosphere there, that it's great family entertainment, and we'll have seats as little as $8 to sell. So, you know, that should be a great incentive to get out, and only 16 home games, Hawk.
Well, you're going to have, as we check out the number right here, Chicago WNBA season tickets. For information, just dial 312-455-4000. Well, you're certainly going to have an affordable product.
We certainly will. It'll be all price ranges, and what we really urge are for those real fans to get out there right now, get their good seats while the good seats are to be had, and they're going to be playing in a wonderful venue, the United Center. So how often do you get in there and get a cheap seat and come and enjoy? It's just really a great experience to anyone who's ever been to a WNBA game.
1-1 to count to Thome. Well, Karen Stack-Umlauf, thank you very much for stopping by. Is there anything else you want to give us any information on?
Well, you know, I basically think sometimes people think it's too much of a commitment for a season ticket, but I want to emphasize to people to share those tickets with your family, friends, get your teammates together, and help us to get to that 7,500, and call that number, 312-455-4000 for more information.
Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you, Kevin.
Good luck.
Okay.
Bottom of the 4th, 6-0 Cleveland. That's the story here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Chris Singleton will lead it off. He'll be followed by Carlos Lee and Mags Ordonez. Chris, a solid single to center back in the 1st inning. Indians with 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, and 3 in the 3rd. First pitch strike.
Chris, And hit the ball very well over the last 20 games prior to this. Hitting over 300, 303. And got the only hit the Sox have tonight.
Oh, and 2 the count. In just a moment, we're going to show you something that was absolutely amazing while we were talking with the lovely Karen Stack Umlauf about the WNBA. One and 2 the count.
The one thing is the Sox have to just eliminate that they're down by 6 runs right now and get that energy back, because you look up there, it's easy to say, oh boy, they already dug us in a hole and they're swinging the bats well. Sean Lowe can shut them down like he did last inning, hold them in place and give his guys a chance to score some runs. They can get their adrenaline flowing again and get the crowd into it and come out on top of this.
Well, you've got to, whether you're 6 up or 6 down, you've got to put it out of your mind. If you're 6 up, you just got to put them in the bank, say, let's go get some more. If you're 6 down, you just got to shut it out and say, hey, let's just go get some runs. Fouls that one back. And that's an attitude. That's a mindset.
That's a tough frame to get into when you look up there and you're saying, okay, they're hitting the ball hard and we're already down 6-0. You got to stop them first, then show your offense. Okay, you can get it started.
Good try by Burba, just misses the corner. So a full count to Chris.
Sometimes as an offense, you feel like you can crawl back into it and you're going to go out there and give it right back up. It just keeps dragging you back down.
As Mark Barron rings him up.
I think that caught Chris off guard. Seemed like the pitch before that, the 2-2 pitch, was very similar to that last one. Chris recognized it and let it go, and then this time it was called a strike.
Carlos Lee takes ball 1. Carlos hit into a 6-4-3 double play in the first inning. Ray let it off with a walk. Chris singled, and then the twin killing. Strike on the corner. The one bad thing overall about being 6 runs down early, especially with a guy like Burba who has been struggling with that 6.20 ERA, it gives him a multiple positive as far as settling into a rhythm. The plate becomes wider. He's not afraid to make a mistake, as he would be possibly in a 1-0 or a tie ball game as that's popped up. Singleton. Check that, Lofton. And that's out number 2. And right now let's check out our forward snapshot. Now watch this. Jim Thome at the plate last inning. Watch the bat as it explodes. Goes all the way down close to Bruce Froemming. And look where this ball lands. That's utterly, you don't see that very often.
Now that ball 350 feet away from home plate on a flying broken bat.
That's one reason 6 runs is not a whole bunch.
Well, Jim Thome is pretty much monster strong.
Yeah, he is. He is just a very aggressive. He's a fun guy to watch. Unfortunately, in his career, he has just killed us. 21 to count.
Well, Thome, 29 home runs, on top of the AL now. Jumped out on Manny Ramirez.
After that horrible start he got off to this year.
Yeah, he's been locked in. See Thome's career numbers versus the Sox. 29 home runs, just like this season. 76 RBIs.
Just like this season.
Same numbers.
broken bat to Hopper. So that is 11 in a row retired by Burba, and we're into the 5th in trouble. 35-year-old right-hander Dave Burba walked Durham leading off, gave up the hit to Singleton. Since that point, he has retired everybody he has faced. As we get set to go to the top of the 5th, Marty Cordova, RBI single and a homer. Hung a curveball. Leefer makes the catch.
Nice job. Jeff Leefer read that ball good. It's hit hard. Right there. Nice reaction.
So here is Cordero. Popped the first, singled and scored. Makes a fastball strike.
Think about Sean Lowe getting the opportunity to start, as David Wells went down with that bad back, had surgery on Wednesday, successful surgery. He's starting rehab very quickly to get that healed right, and maybe try and make a comeback for next season, be physically ready to go.
High and to right, Mags.
Here's a reminder, the White Sox face the Red Sox this Sunday at 1:05. It's Dominic's Fujifilm Photo Day. Pick up a Fuji Quick Snap camera at Dominic's and take pregame photos of White Sox team members from 11:45 to 12:30. Bring your Dominic's receipt to any ticket window on photo day and receive 2 tickets for the price of 1. All fans must enter gate 1 with a game ticket and a Fuji product to participate. For details, call 312-674-1000.
Curveball strike to Travis Fryman, who has doubled, scored, and walked.
But Sean Lowe feels like every time he goes out, he's got to prove himself.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's a good incentive. You know, it's going to keep him sharp, and he's a guy that's had to prove himself his whole career anyway, so it's not a problem for him. Also has the makeup to have an outing like tonight where jumped on early, but it makes him that more intense, wanting to get the job done.
3-1. That's into center field. Singleton is right there. So for the second inning in a row, he gets them 1, 2, 3. We're halfway home. We need 6 to tie.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago White Sox and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago White Sox.
Home half of the 5th. 6-9-0 for Cleveland. 0-1-0 for the Sox. It'll be Canseco, Leefer, and Konerko to face Dave Burba. Canseco called out on strikes his first trip. Takes one right there. Curveball inside.
Jose was 0 for 3 last night with 3 strikeouts. 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout. Having a tough time against the Indians.
That's into the gap. Nobody's going to catch that one. Well, Canseco will mosey on into second base. That's his 5th two-bagger. More importantly, a base run.
Well, just a second hit.
Jeff Leefer.
Just the first inning. Chris Singleton, the second batter of the ball game, had the base hit. Two straight curveballs. This time he throws it out over the plate. Read it as soon as it left Burba's hand. It was up. And that's what we were hoping was going to happen quite a bit tonight, going by how many hits Berba has given up on the season, that he'd make a lot of mistakes. So far, he hasn't.
So here's Jeff. Grounded out to Alomar's first trip. Off the glove, deflects it right over to Alomar. Up with it, so it'll be a 1-4-3 if you're scoring. Canseco in the third.
And here's a reminder to spend a day on a great golf course with White Sox players and local celebrities on Monday, July 30th at the Field of Greens golf outing at Harborside International Golf Course. Proceeds will benefit Chicago White Sox charities in their efforts to fight cancer in children. For details, call 312-674-1000. Great. Got a nice swing.
Yes, he does. As does Mags. That'll be a fun day. Get yourself a team together. Call and find out if there are any spots available. So here's Konerko. He grounded out to third his first trip. Takes it right there. And here's another email. This one came in just about 10 minutes ago, Feisty. Paul Fiala from San Luis Obispo, California, says, Hawk and DJ, what is Jerry Manuel's motivational approach to the players? Last year it seemed that the players played almost giddy with exuberance and energy. This year it seems the group is somewhat lackluster in its overall intensity. And how is Jerry handling that on a daily basis?
Well, Jerry, pretty much a very laid-back manager with a positive attitude. His motivational ways are really, he just lets his players go until they make a mistake. He goes in there, he'll talk to them and say, hey, let's go, let's keep it going. He's just a very positive person. He's not a guy that comes in there and brings a lot of negativity, no matter what the circumstance. Some guys aren't doing their job, of course. He'll go and have a little talk with them, but generally he's just a guy that motivates by showing up and having a good attitude, and it carries over to the other guys that are all around him.
Well, in my opinion, it's not a situation that you don't find very many managers, coaches in professional sports today that can motivate people. What you can do is allow them to motivate themselves, put them in a position to motivate themselves. And motivation, for the most part, and intensity has to come from the ball players, not from the manager or the coaches. It has to come from the ball players. And what email was asking about last year, there's no question about it. The intensity was much greater. They played intense baseball for 9 innings. We saw that for almost the whole season. You know, I was talking with a manager over the offseason who won a divisional title. There's a chopper. Alomar throws him out. Canseco scores, and it's a 6-1 ball game. So we were talking about his club, and the first thing he said, I hope these guys just don't sit back on their laurels of winning the divisional championship and think that they can go into spring training and all of a sudden when the season starts turn it on like a light switch. That doesn't happen.
You know, some teams, they have to learn how to win, and the White Sox, coming off the '99 season, didn't play great baseball, but 2000 they did better than everybody expected. They just exploded onto the scene. A lot of young players that had outstanding seasons, and it surprised them and the whole league. They played great baseball. Best offensive season ever by Chicago White Sox. And then all of a sudden, this next year, things are totally different. They didn't back it up, but that has to do with them learning how to win. And I think they're going to learn from this season as being a tough one.
I think they're going to learn more from this season certainly than they did last year. And the one thing that you cannot do at any point in a season is pack it in. You cannot do that. You've got to bring out your professional pride. You've got to. I am really proud of the way these guys, they were 15 games under, they came back. As we said earlier, that's the first time since 1991 that a team 15 games under has come back to get to 500 at any point during the season. But they have played hard. But I think they've learned a lot about themselves this year. Mark Johnson. So Alomar has 3 assists in the inning. Sox get on the board. We'll go to the 6th now, trailing by 5. 6-1 Indians here in the top of the 6th inning. Right now, let's check out what's coming your way right here over WGN.
Charles Bronson must stop a KGB agent before he ignites World War III. When the phone is a weapon, your next call could be your last. Telethon, Friday at 8 Eastern on WGN Superstation.
Along with Darren Jackson, Ken Harrelson from Comiskey Park in Chicago. Finale of this brief 2-game set with Cleveland. For the Indians, it'll be Branyan, Diaz, and Lofton to face Sean Lowe. Off the end of the bat on the breaking pitch. 1 pitch, 1 out.
And here's a reminder. White Sox face the Devil Rays on Friday, August 3rd at 7:05. The first 15,000 fans will receive White Sox 100th anniversary pennants from Armour Stars Hot Dogs. For tickets, call 312-8311-SOX.
So a quick out, and that'll bring up Einar Diaz, who is 1 for 2, an RBI double. And here's another email from Cliff Zeider. Says, why are not there more knuckleball pitchers being developed? I remember Wilbur Wood, Hoy Wilhelm, Bill Fisher. They never had sore arms, could pitch every day. Well, Cliff Zeider, I'm with you. That to me is a mystery. We've talked about it in the past. You've got most of the pitchers in professional baseball are in that gray area. Most of them, probably 80%, will never pitch in the big leagues. And why that some organization has not. In fact, we had Phil Niekro up here about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and he was talking about the same thing. It mystifies him as well. Some organization does not take a lot of their pitchers and just put them with people who could teach them how to throw the knuckleball. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. As there's a ground ball to Hopper, Leifer, the long peg. 2 down.
Yeah, that's a funny concept. Imagine if you were an organization, you get yourself a former knuckleball star, say at the big league level, like Niekro. And you have your regular pitchers that are working their way through the system, throwing their regular pitches, their 4 basic food groups. And then you give the guys that aren't as successful an opportunity to try something new and teach them a knuckleball, and who knows what they'll develop.
That's what I'm saying. If you get 1 a year, you've beaten the system, so to speak. As Lofton takes first pitch strike. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI double. As I said, 80% of the guys in professional baseball today probably will not pitch in the big leagues. That's just the numbers. That's just the way it is. And not to try to give them some sort of a trick pitch like the knuckleball is beyond me.
Well, you know, those knuckleballers didn't start out as knuckleballers.
No.
There were guys that just weren't as successful. They went to the knuckleball and started getting guys out. Next thing you know, they have long major league careers.
I faced Wilbur Wood before the knuckleball. I faced Phil Niekro before the knuckleball. These guys were just sinker, slider, curve pitchers. Didn't have much stuff at all. And they went to the knuckleball, and one of them's in the Hall of Fame right now. And the others were. There's a base hit off the end of the bat. That breaks a streak of 9 consecutive retired by Sean.
If I recall, Tom Cadiotti was not a knuckleballer when he first broke into the big leagues. Tim Wakefield developed as a knuckleballer along the way through the minor leagues, and then you have Charlie Huff. I tell you, these guys, successful major league knuckleballers for a long time.
Well, Charlie Huff will tell you, Lasorda came up to him one day and said, hey, son, I think you better try something else. You're not going to get there the way that you're going about it, as Vizquel singles softly into left field. So 2 out, 2 on here in the top of the 6th inning. Eleven hits now for Cleveland. And that'll bring up Alomar.
You talk about knuckleballers. There's so many ways you can look around at talent in the minor leagues and mix and match. You have a lot of former, say, third basemen like Einar Diaz. An outstanding arm. They felt he could do a little better. They moved him behind home plate. You have a lot of catchers that had other tools. They decided to move them other locations on the field to help them, say like Craig Biggio.
That's a great example.
So
there was some conversation about Ivan Rodriguez maybe going to second base, which in my opinion probably would do a heck of a job and prolong his career. Here's a strike on the inside corner. Alomar 0 for 3 tonight.
You talk about moving into Ivan Rodriguez, who's a shoe-in as a Hall of Famer behind home plate. It's tough to convince those type of catchers to move, even if it prolongs their careers.
Well, it's according to who you got. If you got somebody who that ball gets away from Mark Johnson, so both runners will advance. Right now, if you're a parent and you've got a son that has some baseball ability and acumen, fastest way to the big leagues is catching.
Left-handed hitting catcher.
Wild pitch.
It's gotten well. That's the ultimate, but just being a catcher. As there's a curveball strike, backdoored him, and the count 1-2.
Well, Sean Lowe has handled a top hitter in the American League pretty well tonight. Also the second in the AL with runners in scoring position. So ahead of him here with 2 strikes. Don't make a mistake.
And once again, Matt Ginter starting to loosen up. The watchful eye of Hart Art Kushner. Full count.
See, Ichiro Suzuki has been on top of that runners in scoring position almost all season.
Ground ball. Ray backhand sets, pegs, yes, in time, and that'll retire the side. 2-out threat goes by the boards. We trail it by 5. Get some runs. It's the bottom of the 6th inning. 6-11-0 for the Tribe. 1-2-0 for the Sox. Royce Clayton will lead it off. Royce grounded out 3-1 his first at bat. Takes a strike on the corner. Royce, as we mentioned, 2 for 3 last night. One thing that has been constant about Royce has been his glove, the leather.
And his bat of late. 325 over his last 14 games. Very consistent for quite a while now. Has risen that average over 200.
And we've been getting just a ton of emails about the possibility of trades for the Sox. And one thing about it, we'd like to be able to tell you something. We can't. Either DJ or myself know is that ball into right field. But over going back on the track, he's there right in front of the fence, makes the catch. A deep line drive by Clayton. Hang with him. 1 out.
Marty Cordova took a good angle to this ball. Concentrates, watches it right into his glove, spins off the fence. That's a big thing when it's behind your head like that, to really concentrate and watch it all the way back to your glove if you can. Sometimes you might lose it, deflect it right off your glove when you're running hard like Cordova was.
So here's Ray Durham. He has walked and he has grounded to second. Pokes that one in the left field. Nice piece of woodwork right there by Ray. He's on his way to second with his 23rd two-bagger. The only thing I can tell you about the trade situations that in almost 40 years of major league experience,
12.
the price is right. I've never seen a player that couldn't be traded.
Go back to the old saying, if you can trade Babe Ruth.
They didn't even trade him. They sold him for $125,000. Mr. Frazee wanted to open up a musical on Broadway, sold Babe, and opened it up. Here's Chris Singleton. He's 1 for 2. There's a shot base hit. Here comes Ray. Lofton with a throw. Cut off. Durham scores as Ray had to turn it on a little bit. He was just on cruise control there for a little bit, and then it's a 6-2 ball game.
Yeah, Ray was kind of just scooting along very slowly and easily into home plate, thinking, all right, no problem. Kenny Lofton kind of noticed it and said, well, what the heck? I'll fire this to home. This hits the bullet out there. I think Ray thought this was further towards the gap than it actually was. And then decides, oh, I got to go. I got to know where Lofton was located before the ball was hit.
Well, check your outfielders as Carlos Lee will stand in. Curveball low. Another email from Jim Wojciechowski from Spartanburg, South Carolina. So off the other night you were talking about bats. We just saw an exploding bat by Jim Thome, and the ball went about 350 feet. And there goes Singleton. Diaz not in time. He threw out 3 last night. So Chris picks up his 11th stolen base.
And looked like he almost broke his leg sliding hard into the base, bending it back. But I'll tell you, Chris, he wanted to make sure that he got in there hard. Got a great jump against Burba as Diaz just fires it down there very quickly. Chris, look at that. Just hooks it with his toe. Almost pops a kneecap.
Jerry Meals, second base umpire right. Johnny on the spot in good position on top of the plate. And here's a 1-1 pitch. Fouls it off. Wojciechowski says, you're talking about the heavier the bat you use, the better the wood. Well, that's true, Jim. He also said, well, you're talking about a laminated bat. Well, laminated bats are bats that they put together with different layers of wood. And they just started, what, DJ, 10, 15 years ago?
Yes.
But they have laminated drivers in golf. In fact, all those ping woods used to be, the oval wood ping woods were laminated, as were as he strikes out Carlos. So 2 out. But in the lamination process, they just put these pieces of wood together. And I don't know what they do. They heat them up or whatever. And all of a sudden, in many cases, they are harder than the actual one-piece solid bats. I never liked it. I tried to hit it with it a couple times just in BP, and I didn't like them that much. But some guys love them.
No, and you know what? Sometimes the ones that I've seen or grabbed are real heavy. They make those bats a little heavy, and I didn't like it because of that reason strictly.
Outfield around to the right. Mags takes ball 1. And if you want to email us, we'll try to get some in before the end of the game. If you email Hawk and DJ, SoxTV at chicagosports.com. Hawk and DJ, SoxTV at chicagosports.com. Ground ball right side. 2-hopper. Thome underneath the Burba. And that'll do it. But the Sox pick up another one. We'll go to the 7th now, trailing by only 4. Got to hold them right here. Sox trailing by 4, top of the 7th inning. And a pitching change, Feisty.
Matt Ginter has come on for Sean Lowe here in the top of the 7th. Got a 9 ERA, no decisions. Given 11 hits in 8 innings.
First pitch strike to Thome. Thome has doubled, homered, driven in 2, scored 2.
Matt Ginter has had limited action, but got in last night's ball game. Give a run, a couple of hits, unearned run that is.
Goes through that one. 1-2 the count. Marty Cordova on deck. Outfield slightly to the left. Good pitch. Slider in on the fist, fights it off. There's another one. This one, Brian Pfaff. Talking DJ, were you guys superstitious as players? If so, are you superstitious as the White Sox announcers? And what are some examples?
I wasn't really superstitious. Occasionally, when you're going real well, you don't change things up. Same thing as a broadcaster.
Same thing, ditto. That's foul back. When I was a player, I was superstitious. If I was going good, usually I'd probably eat lunch at the same place every day, especially if we're on the road. And I do the same thing as a broadcaster when we're going good, like in Milwaukee. We won the first game as he strikes out Thome. 1 out. But I got in the night before that series. I had room service. We won the next day, so I decided I'm just not going to go out. I just had room service again. We won. I had room service again. We won that game. So yeah, Brian Pfaff, you get superstitious, and that's just the way it is with most guys in sports.
I'm not afraid to break those routines and superstitions when things are going bad, though.
No, that's the easy part there. A couple of years ago, we went out on the West Coast, and the same thing happened. You know, they have some wonderful restaurants out there, and first night we got in, I had room service. We won. Wow. 21 to count. We were playing in Oakland. We swept them, went down to Anaheim, swept them, went up to Seattle for a 2-game set, I believe, and swept. We were 8-0 on that trip. And I never went out of the room one night. I had room service every night. Off the end of the bat on a breaking pitch, Durham. Can't come up with it. That'll be a base hit. So Cordova now 3 for 4 with a homer.
Base hit, single.
Ray Durham, far to his right. Only chance he has is to dive at this one. If he comes up clean with it, he probably gets to his knees and makes a strong throw and gets Cordova because it was hit hard. That's all he could do was just to knock it down.
So here's Cordero. He's 1 for 3. He has also scored a run. Right on the outside corner, beauty by Matt. See Rocker warming up. Chops that one foul. Just tuning in, Cleveland with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third. Sox with 1 in the fifth and 1 in the sixth. Big gap in left center as nice pick by Mark Johnson.
Cordero has only grounded into 4 double plays on the season. Matt Ginter could sink a fastball down and in, get him to roll over on it, be just what the doctor ordered.
2-2. 23,450 in attendance this evening. Sox averaging 22,471 on the season coming in. A commercial toss right there. Here's another email from Michael Wojnarowski from Raleigh, North Carolina. It says my role model is Mags Ordonez because of his ability to hit for power and average. Michael, you got a good role model. He's a good man besides being a good player. But he asked, who's your idol in baseball when you were a child? Who's yours, DJ? That's high and deep into left center field. Singleton back at the fence. He's there, makes the catch. And that's out number 2.
Well, getting to this, I would like to say that my idol was somebody that was very special as a player and as a person, as Chris Singleton makes his catch. Roberto Clemente. That was my favorite all-around baseball player. Hit for average and for power, and was a great defensive player.
So here's Fryman. Doubled, scored, walked, and lined to center.
And yours?
Mickey Mantle. Breaking ball low.
Was it for his on-field?
Mickey Mantle. He was a great guy. People don't to this day understand, unless you had the pleasure of knowing Mickey. What a great guy he was. He's probably the most loved player in the league by his peers. Fouls that one back, so the count evens at 1.
And while we have a second, here's a reminder. It's the buy a pizza, catch a game deal from Pizza Hut. Visit your local Pizza Hut now through August 5th and receive a voucher for a free White Sox ticket every time you buy a Twisted Crust pizza or any medium or large pizza. Yep, so you're saying Mickey Mantle on and off the field.
Mickey Mantle was my idol. That was the question. As he pulls the string, 1 and 2. .536 career homers. Most by a switch hitter. Won the Triple Crown in '56. 353, 52 homers, and drove in 130. Ah, yeah. Beauty. Good slider. 7th inning stretch. We need 4 to tie. Right now it's time to check out our Miller Lite Major League scoreboard. There you see the Angels over the D-Rays 2-1 down in St. Pete. Texas and Baltimore postponed due to those toxic fumes in that train wreck. Boston leading Toronto 3-1 in the 8th at Sky Dome. Detroit hammered the Yankees 11-2 at Comerica. 6-1. Kansas City leading Seattle less in the 5th. Oakland was leading 4-0. Is now 4-3 in the 5th at the Humphrey Dome. 8-3 Marlins over the Mets. 2-1 at Braves over the Reds. The Reds having a tough time at home. Montreal beats the Phillies 5-2 up in Canada. 4-1. Tony La Russa's Cardinals over Houston at Enron. Dodgers beats Brewers 8-6 out in L.A. 3-0. First of a doubleheader. D-backs shut out San Diego. Final game 2, 8-4. San Diego. Pittsburgh defeated the Cubs 3-2 at PNC. And later on, Colorado taking on the Giants at Pac-Bell Park. So big right-hander Dave Burba into his 7th inning of work. 6-12-0 for the Indians. 2-4-0 for the Sox. Canseco 1 for 2, a double, and he scored the first Sox run. Takes a strike. That's inside. Come on, Ho, start us off once again. The double is leading off the 5th. Two and 1.
Dave Burba, usually a guy that gives you a whole lot of innings. This season, a little bit off. Very inconsistent as he's given up a whole bunch of hits on the year.
Strike on the corner.
He does have a complete game on the season. But he's got times where he's been out there for 3 2/3, 5 1/3, 1 2/3, 5. Very, very inconsistent all over the board.
Now they're going to go away, and there's a ground ball base hit. So Canseco 2 for 3. More importantly, the leadoff man aboard. Oh boy, Ho. Activity down in the Sox pen, right-hander Bobby Howard. So Charlie Manuel. So walk out to the mound. And he's going to make the call to the pin. So Burba goes 6+. Faces one hitter here in the 7th. Gives up 2 runs on 4 hits, 1 walk, had 3 strikeouts. He'll depart.
Go get him, man!
Rocker comes on, and we'll be back. Right-hander Dave Burba there, his numbers. He leads with a 4-run lead. Canseco his responsibility first, and coming on now is the 26-year-old southpaw out of Macon, Georgia, John Rocker. And before we get to his numbers, let's pause for station identification.
This is WGN Superstation.
With Darren Jackson, Ken Harrelson from Comiskey Park. Finale of this 2-game set, and a reminder immediately following our ball game, it will be the WGN News. So Rocker's on. Feisty.
Rocker is not throwing the ball very well lately. In his last 3 games, he's thrown 2 2/3, given up 7 hits, 6 earned runs. He's allowed a run in 4 of his last 9 outings with Cleveland. You see his numbers from his last outing against Houston. So continue the onslaught that has been going on against Rocker lately right here.
Herbert Perry has come out to hit for Jeff Leefer. Leefer was 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of ground outs. That's downstairs.
Well, he's issued some free passes since putting on the Cleveland Indians uniform. And 8 2/3, 8 base on balls. Also 11 hits. Opponents hitting .324 against him.
Outfield straight up. And the count 2-0. Just hits the outside corner.
Rocker came over, and Charlie Manuel inserted him into the closer's role. And Bob Wickman had been in that role. And now with Rocker's recent struggles, Wickman back as the closer.
A little jam job into right field. Cordova coming on. He's there. Reaches up. Hauls it in. And that's out number 1.
And here's a reminder. Fans purchasing White Sox ticket by phone using American Express during the month of July are automatically registered to win a trip to spring training in 2002 or the opportunity to throw out the first pitch at a game. For tickets and your chance to win, call Ticketmaster at 312-8311-SOX.
Here's Konerko. Well, he has grounded to third. He has grounded to second. Grounder to second, knocked in Canseco, picking up his 51st ribby. Pulls the string right there, and the count 1-0.
Well, he'd been struggling a bit. Only 9 for his last 43. Fastball hasn't been catching up to as much as he usually can.
No, he's in between. He's been in between. 2-0 the count. And that is absolutely the worst place in the world for a hitter to be. That's what experience will help you do, is learn how to get yourself out of being in between quicker. You're always going to find yourself in between in some situations, in some periods of time. But the experienced players have found a way to get themselves out of being in between. You got to make a commitment according to who's pitching, what his stuff is. 3-0.
Paulie, of course, has been very successful this year. Back to being successful, that is, compared to last year. In '99, he was locked in and counts where he had the feeling a fastball was coming. But lately, he hasn't been as hot.
Rocker grabs the strike.
Now he's got a hitter's count right here, 3-1.
Well, right here, he's just got to absolutely zone him in. He can't help Rocker out. And a lot of times, of course, that's getting to be a lost art too. The take sign. 4 runs down here in the bottom of the 7th. And that's ball 4. Well, Mark Johnson's going to hit for himself. Mark is fly to center and grounded to second.
There's Bob Wickman.
Yeah, he was a little PO'd about that situation.
Don't blame him.
No, not at all.
Bob Wickman, even if he does struggle a bit as a closer, is a very good pitcher. And you hang with him, he'll probably come out on top for you a lot more than not.
Mark takes first pitch strike. 2 on 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th, trailing 6-2. Swings and misses at that breaking ball. So now he's got to cinch it up and hunker down. Oh, Mark, good 2-strike hitter. Another breaking ball hangs high and inside.
Well, I've seen of Rocker on many a TV game, and he does have a pretty good curveball. If he's throwing that for a strike, as you see Rincon and Shuey backing up Rocker. Got that above average fastball and a good curveball. When he's throwing it for a strike, that is what makes him successful.
Upstairs. There's a big pitch coming up right here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A lot of times when guys are having home plate jump around on them, they get to 3-2 and have a tendency to squeeze it a little bit.
Rocker, a very intense young man.
Outfield short and around to the left. Gets him on a hook. So 2 out with 2 on.
And that is that curveball, talking about what makes him really effective. MJ just flew way open off of that.
Yeah, that actually was a pretty good pitch, pretty good curveball. He looked like more of a get me over.
It took a lot off of it.
Hey, JB, what time's the game on Saturday? Noon or 1?
So here's Royce. Royce is grounded to first and line hard and deep to right field. Grabs the strike there to even the count at 1. Come on, Royce. We need you. Let's play a little racky-tack for a few minutes. Diaz to the outside.
I don't care how successful Rocker ever is. Those guys that takes the hill, you don't know what you're going to get. He can be all over the place at any given time.
Well, he is one of the prototypes for being called effectively wild. Especially the left-handed hitters. Good rip by Royce underneath it. So now 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. Sox trail by 4. Full count. Now Royce, ball 4, base hit.
Base hit, ball 4.
Either way. Ray Durham on deck. Royce fights it off. And that's going to be foul and back into the seats. So Royce cutting and slashing. 95-mile-an-hour fastball right there by Rocker.
Well, we've talked about it several times. Royce Clayton has done most of his damage. Over 50% of the runs he has driven in has been with 2 outs. And especially of late with 2 strikes.
Pitch a little bit high right there, but Royce protecting. So Canseco at second, Konerko at first. Einar Diaz wants to go out and try to give him something positive to think about. He shakes his head, yeah.
Royce with that big triple in Milwaukee on a 3-2 count down the right field line, driving in 2 runs against Ray King, left-handed reliever for the Brewers.
Two guys got their rally caps on. Joe once again getting set for the payoff pitch. And another foul ball. He has thrown 23 pitches so far since coming on in relief of Dave Burba. And Gallegani, the get-up guy. That ball hit into right center field deep. Cordova goes back, makes a call. He's got the ball, and that'll retire the side. So the Sox threaten, can't score. We'll go to the 8th. It is 6-2 Indians. Pitching coach Dick Paul talking to Rocker. Charlie Manuel coming over. As the Indians lead at 6-2. Clarence Jones in the background, hitting coach. Herbert Perry moves in to third base for Jeff Leefer, who he pinch hit for. And on the mound, Feisty, a pitching change.
See, Big Bob Howery has come on for Matt Ginter. He's 3-3. He has 3 saves in 37 games. Opponent's hitting .264 against him on the year. He's given up 42 hits and 42 1/3. 5 long balls, 16 base on balls, and 41 strikeouts. He's got Branyan, Diaz, and Lofton.
So hold him right here. Still got 6 outs to try to come up with 4 runs. Branyan 0 for 3 tonight. He struck out, fly deep to center. And he's bounced back softly to the pitcher. Branyan takes first pitch up high. Minnesota was trailing 4-0 and is now 5-4 Twins, bottom of the 6th inning in Minneapolis. That's jammed, popped up. Perry. Good pitch by Bobby. Slider in on the 5th.
Here's a reminder, on Saturday, August 4th, the White Sox face the Devil Rays at 6:05. After the game, all fans will enjoy Field of Dreams fireworks presented by ComEd. For tickets, call 312-831-11-SOX.
Here's Diaz, 1 for 3, an RBI double. Pops that one back. And that'll be on the screen. I'm checking some particulars for you. Kansas City leading Seattle 6-1, top of the 8th inning at Kauffman Stadium. Al Martin only a home run in that ball game. Freddie Garcia started against Wilson. And that 5-4 Minnesota lead over Oakland. Game in the bottom of the 6th. Frank Menachino has homered, number 11. And Jeremy Giambi is at number 5. 1-1 to count. Blue Jays scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to beat Boston 4-3. Escobar over Lowe. Starters in that game were Rojo and Hamilton. Tops that one foul. Tigers beat the Yankees 11-2 at Comerica Park. Tino Martinez hit his 19th. Lima the winner over Pettit. Lima 2-2 since joining the Tigers. Pettit now 9-6 for the Pinstripers. Dodgers beat the Brewers 8-6 out in L.A. Herges over Weathers. Richie Sexton hit number 23. Gary Sheffield hit a pair. He now has 20. Cardinals 4-1 over Houston. Mark McGwire hit his 12th. Placido Polanco hit his 2nd. That's Morris 12-5 over Miller, who is 11-5. Timlin picked up his 3rd save. Pittsburgh beat the Cubs 3-2. Olivares 4-7 over Duncan 3-3. Williams picked up his 19th save. There's another chopper. Redmond hit his first home run, and Sammy hit number 31. Florida beat the Mets at Shea 8-3. Dempster over Rush. Cliff Floyd hit his 25th. Derek Lee is 12th. 8-12-2 for the Marlins. 3-7-1 for the Metropolitans. Watch out. Got him on the hand or the arm.
That's a 4th batter that Bob Howry has hit on the season. Most of them have come into the situation where he had a couple of strikes on the hitter and he tries to go in tight. Hawk and I have talked about it a lot of times. Hitters nowadays, they still stay so locked in. They don't react till the ball has hit them most of the time.
Well, from what we've seen the past few years, the way the hitters dive now, I would say it's toss-up. 50% of the time they hit themselves.
And especially when you see, because when I first started playing pro ball, coach would say, if you get hit on the hands, that's your own fault. Unless the ball just hunted you down and you did something weird. But in a lot of cases, hitters are throwing their hands right towards the ball and hitting themselves.
There's a good strike to Lofton. Lofton has tried to bunt. Sean Lowe made a good play, threw him out. Then he doubled to knock in the run. He has fly to center, and he also has singled. Slashes that one foul, and the count 0-2. In game 1 of the Padre D-back doubleheader. Check that. Yeah, game 1 of the Padre D-back doubleheader. Randy Johnson set a major league record with 16 strikeouts and 7 innings of relief. Relief, that's what it's got here. Continuation of last night's suspended game.
Relief.
Yeah. Padres only had 1 hit. Luis Gonzalez hit number 37, and Mark Grace hit number 11. Gracie having a heck of a year for the D-backs out there. Not to say Luis Gonzalez is not.
Well, at least Luis Gonzalez hitting that quiet 37th home run, huh?
Isn't he something? I'll tell you, I've been watching him on the highlights and go home tonight. He's just putting the shortest, quickest, prettiest little swing on that thing.
Yeah, you know, guys with open stances like Gonzalez, they've got it working perfectly like we've seen from Tony Batista. Boy, they hit the ball a long way very often.
And that's going to be out of play. Yeah, with no effort.
Well, we saw Tony Batista hit 41 home runs last season with that wide open stance. Luis Gonzalez down in Arizona, he has a very wide open stance. Similar approach from the left side. Talking about Randy Johnson with those 16 strikeouts. He started the day leading the National League with 209. Second in the league was Schilling, his teammate, with 168.
Randy with 225 strikeouts. And once again, the no over the first.
225 strikeouts, and he has pitched 147 innings.
That'll work.
Yep.
Now the 2-2. And the ball hit hard, base hit. So Lofton 3 for 5. Diaz will round second.
Doesn't seem to really matter. Kenny Lofton, before that at bat, was hitting .238. Not having himself a very good year. But before this game, career versus the Sox, not a problem. .329. 10 home runs and 40 RBIs. So he likes to hit against the White Sox.
Mark Johnson out to talk to Howery. 1 out, runners at the corners. That'll bring up Omar Vizquel. He's 2 for 4. A triple, a single, fly out to left, a fly out to right. Minnesota now leading Oakland 7-4. Those Twinkies just won't roll over. They won't quit. First pitch strike to Omar.
Now we've seen the Twins talk about a team effort. They don't hit a lot of home runs, but when they do, they usually help the team win. It's like extra base hits. They drive the ball and pick runners up from first base, themselves infield hits, you name it. They do a whole bunch of everything right. Bobby Howery has a first and third situation here. He's ahead on Vizquel. The Indians have not scored a run since back in the third, where they put 3 on the board. Good pitch, Bobby Howery right there. Tailing fastball to get ahead 0-2 on Vizquel. So Bobby trying to work himself out of this first and third situation after hitting Einar Diaz on a 1-2 pitch. Lofton with his third hit of the night. Bullet back up the middle. Now he's got to get Vizquel quickly ahead of him. Nice try. Slider in. Vizquel has grounded into 10 double plays on the season. Kind of surprising with his speed and also hitting from the left side as much as he does. Sean Lowe gave up the 6 runs through 3 and shut him down in the 4th and 5th and 6th. Matt Ginter shut him down in the 7th. Vizquel, .236 hitter with runners in scoring position coming into tonight's game. Defense, left field, center field shifted over towards the left field line. There goes Lofton, slaps at it. Good jump by Lofton with 2 strikes. Vizquel just protecting the plate.
Yeah, Mark had no chance right there on Lofton to make a play on him.
Lofton not very successful on the season in stolen bases. 9 out of 14 attempts. It's not a good ratio for him and his kind of speed, but mentioned that he hurt his hamstring earlier in the year. He doesn't seem to run as well as the Kenny Lofton of old.
He's 34 now.
And young 34. There's a shot. No chance for Maglio. Lofton off to the races. Diaz scores. Throw into Durham. They're waving Lofton home. The throw from Ray. Up the line. He's got a chance at third. No. So Kenny Lofton flying around the bases there. Scoring on a shot off the bat with 2 strikes on him. Vizquel. It's a bullet past Ordonez down into the right field. Straight away right field almost. The Mags are shading towards the gap.
Just a high fastball up out over the plate. Vizquel, even hitting left-handed, just hits that high fastball. Unless you're going to run it up there 95, 96, 97. They had a real good shot at Lofton right there, but the throw was not good.
Yep, Ray turned and just winged it and led Mark Johnson down that third base line. No chance. And that'll probably be scored a double, and Vizquel advancing on the throw into third. Nardi Contreras having a little conversation now. That's the first time the Indians have gotten on the board since third here in the 8th inning now with 1 out. So Nardi back to the dugout. He's got Roberto Alomar now. And Roberto 0 for 4 on the night. Grounded to second base his last time up, with runners on first and second.
First pitch outside to Alomar. He's drawn a collar in 4 at-bats. He is lined hard to third, grounded to first, fly to right, and grounded to second. Alan Embry loosening up. So that infield ends. Outfield about equidistant, slightly to the left. And the count 2-0. (8-14-0) for the Indians, 2-5-0 for the Sox. Cleveland won the game last night 9-4. That's the right size, but the wrong shape. Jim Thome on deck. Two and two. And a reminder, make your plans to be with us here tomorrow night at the ballpark. First of a 3-game set against the Boston Red Sox. Rocky Biddle will hit the bump against Hideo Nomo. If you can't make it, that game will be over WCIU. It's foul back. We'll try to make it because that'll be Miller Music Night. As you look at the pitching matchup tomorrow. Miller Music Night with kazoos and fireworks. I love kazoos and fireworks.
A lot going on tomorrow. Karaoke night. Music night.
Here's a 2-2. Yes, he did. Bill Cousy said he could not check it up. Good call. 2 down.
Yeah, Roberto Alomar. Before the swing, he even crawled up in the batter's box a little further. Bob Howard threw a good slider out on his hands. He couldn't lay off of it. He went too far.
Well, game in and game out, Roberto Alomar will make more adjustments at the plate. When I say adjustments, I'm not talking about just mental adjustments. I'm talking about moving around in that box than probably any hitter in this league. Thome takes ball 1.
You know, one thing about Roberto Alomar is you just sit there and watch him and see him a whole bunch. Very, very smart baseball player.
Well, one of the reasons that you can do that, which guys don't do today. Alomar, as I said, does it probably more than anybody without question in the American League. One of the reasons is because most of the signs will be called from the bench. And they can't see the adjustments that those hitters are going to make. But as I said, not many guys do that. Now, if the catcher's calling the signs, he can see that adjustment, and all of a sudden he can make a decision on his own.
Well, there's a couple of catchers. I always mention Two of them in particular is Joe Girardi and Brad Ausmus. I used to move around in that box and they'd watch me and go right to what they needed to do to get me out.
That's way back. It's 10-2. Thome now with 30 homers and 78 RBIs. And that's exactly his career numbers against the Sox. 30 homers and 78 RBIs. Three for 5 tonight with that RBI double with 2 homers.
Well, it's a 2-0 fastball up. Jim Thome knows that there's a good chance Bob Howry is having a tough inning. He's just going to rear back and fire one. It's just a matter of where the location is going to be, and he got it where he wanted it.
Marty Cordova's 3 for 4. Well, Thome didn't hit that ball hard at all.
No, it got in on him, but we saw what happened earlier when the ball got in on him.
He just muscled. He's so strong. He got shoulders. I mean, he got shoulders big enough for both of us to stand on. Breaking pitch. Just a strong human being.
Estimated distance on the home run, 383 feet, 383.
Cordova can't get the slider, and the count 1-2.
Well, Jim Thome came into this ball game, the all-time home run leader for the Cleveland Indians. Now he has 263 career home runs for the Tribe. And even the count up at 2. You see, Albert Bell, 242. Manny Ramirez, 236. So all recent players.
He's just 30. Full count. He's going to put some big numbers up before his career is over.
If you think about it, Albert Bell, Manny Ramirez, two guys that when they're in their careers with the Indians, you thought they'd be there a long time and put monster numbers up, and they've been gone.
And it has popped up right side, so this inning is going to come to end if the ball comes down. But meanwhile, 4 more go up on the board. We're in the bottom of the 8th, trailing by 8. Defensive change for Cleveland. Colbert Cabrera moves into left field for Russell Branyan. And a pitching change.
Ricardo Rincon, southpaw, 1-1 record, 3.14 ERA. He's a fastball, slider, changeup pitcher. Slider is his best pitch.
Ray takes low ball 1. Ray has walked, grounded to second, doubled and scored. Fastball strike. Yeah. Fouls that one back. For the second night in a row, our clocks are getting clean.
Well, Sox started this little 2-game series 4-1 against the Indians. Now it appears at this point, the way things have gone, it's going to be 4-3. Getting set to go to Cleveland for a 4-game set. White Sox will have a chance to gain some ground again.
Yeah. We got 3 with Boston and go to Cleveland for 4 and then Boston for 3.
There would have been a lot of offense provided by the Twins. 10 hits last night, 9 runs, 15 hits tonight, 10 runs.
Bottom of the 7th in Minneapolis, Twins leading Oakland 8-4. Just tuning in at one time, it was 4-0 Athletics. There's Jones, the hitting coach. As the count goes full to Ray Ray.
And this little southpaw on the hill for the Indians is somebody that was acquired. They felt they needed a left-hander. They gave up something big for him. Brian Giles, who's tearing the cover off the ball in Pittsburgh now.
Ground ball, 2-hop.
This ball game, we got a couple of pretty good middle infielders on the season, as Alomar has made 3 errors and Vizquel 4. Ray Durham for the Sox 5 and Royce Clayton 4.
So here's Chris. Chris 2 for 3, 2 singles, 2 solid singles, and an RBI. Got his average up to 285. Takes first pitch fastball strike. And here's another email, Feisty. We hadn't received a lot pertaining to this subject matter from Mike Plotner from Coal Valley, Illinois. Says, guys, what are your thoughts on the possibility of another strike? Also, would it affect minor league ball as well as the count moves to 0-2?
No, minor league ball continues on. It's just at the major league level that things would change, but we're not talking about a strike. It would, all we've heard rumors, if anything, is that be a lockout on the owner's side.
Well, nobody knows. As there's a base hit. That boy, Chris. He's 3 for 4. He goes to the wall. And now he's going to turn it on. And he's going to go into third with that triple. That's his second 3-bagger.
That way, Chris. Surprising that he ended up going into third in the ball game like this, but made it very easily. But yeah, that's just, you know, it's just rumors. We just read stuff in the paper, just like you guys. There's a gag order on everything, so nobody really knows what can happen.
Well, that's the best thing I think that has happened in this whole scenario as you look at the gap shot right here by Chris. Sees what's developing now on his own. Got the play right in front of him. So here's Carlos. Carlos 0 for 3. It's that one. That's a fair ball. Long peg by Fryman on a nice play. Nice pick by Thome. Singleton scores, and it's a 10-3 game.
Also, the hustle for Chris, helping his teammate out, gave Carlos Lee a easy RBI opportunity.
Well, that's the best thing that could have happened, I think, with the possibility of the scenario. Is Bud Selig putting a gag on her, on everybody, because, as I said, nobody knows what's going to happen. Here's Maggs. He's 0 for 3. But as DJ mentioned, it will not affect the minor leagues. That's one reason you might not see a lot of call-ups as you normally would at the end of the season, because if you go on that 40-man roster and there is a stoppage of any kind, those guys are frozen.
Yeah.
Guys who are not on the roster right now, let's take a Joe Borchard for an example. If they were to call him up because he's having an outstanding season, they call him up, all of a sudden now he won't be able to play next year if there's a stoppage.
That's it. You lose those guys to get down there. The minor leagues get the work in that they need. So you'll see things at the end of this season that where guys might have been called up probably won't get the opportunity now because of who knows what the scenario will be.
Two and 1 the count. Check that. 3-0 the count to Maglio. There's a strike.
Could be in a bat just like this where Sox down by quite a bit. Maglio on a 3-1 count here. Could find his groove a little bit again. He's seen 4 pitches already from Rincon.
That is high into center. That's a can of corn for Lofton. But the Sox come up with 1. We'll go to the 9th, trailing by 7. 10-3 Indians here in the top of the 9th inning. And Gary Glover has come on for Bobby Howry.
And look at Gary's numbers. 3-1, 6.16 ERA. He has 24 strikeouts in his 30 2/3 innings, along with 34 hits given up, 14 base on balls, and 4 long balls.
He was impressive in his last outing at Miller Park in Milwaukee. Impressed a lot of those guys. As first pitch strike, Will Cordero, who's 1 for 4 with the run scored tonight. Curveball, no. And tomorrow night we're going to have a very special thing here. Besides the Miller Music Night, we're going to have a couple of people here, 82 and 87 years old respectively. They're coming to the game tomorrow night to celebrate their 61st wedding anniversary. Ed and Lorraine Sergey from Westchester, Illinois. So Ed and Lorraine, congratulations, and hope you can bring us a winner tomorrow night.
All right, 61st.
60, isn't that wonderful?
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Fouls the high fastball back.
You mentioned Gary Glover. Good outing last time out in Milwaukee. Now his numbers are a little off considering he ran into some trouble earlier in the year, and since then run the ball much better.
In the hole. Clayton on the move. Nice peg. Nice play.
Time right now to have a look at our upcoming schedule, brought to you by Pepsi AC. So tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday is against Boston. We're on WCIU, 7 o'clock. Fox on Saturday. Fox Sports Net Sunday, and Monday will be on WCIU against the Indians in Cleveland.
From Jacobs Field. As Travis Fryman, he's 1 for 3, a double. There's a good hook. Well, if you're just talking about stuff, sure, Gary Glover's 24 years old, and he had some problems after a terrific spring and a terrific start to the season. But if you're talking about stuff, he's got about as good stuff as we have coming out of that pen.
Yeah, he does. And if he's on, what happened is he lost his curveball. Couldn't throw for strikes anymore, and then he became pretty much a one-pitch pitcher.
And he also lost that cutter during that same period of time. Like, he's got a devastating cutter.
So he became a victim out there on the hill when he didn't have his good stuff for him. But demotion to the minor leagues, found it, got back on track, came back, and is throwing the ball much better.
Three and 1 to count. Off the end of the bat. Herbert. Chopper 2 hopper. 2 down. So here's Holbert Cabrera making his first plate appearance. There are his numbers. Went in defensively for Russell Branyan. Can't get that one. Yeah, but Glover has a chance to become an outstanding relief pitcher.
I like when he's out there. When he's on in a close ball game and a setup role, he's done a good job.
Oh, I do too. But again, he went through that one period there. He just lost the release point on his breaking ball and that cutter, and they racky-tacked him pretty good, which is going to happen. But when he's right, he'll get it up there 94, 95. The thing I like, really, the first thing you like about Glover is the talent that he has. But the next thing I like about him is his makeup. His tendency is to be really aggressive out there.
You know what? He reaches back and he fires it. And of course, your confidence goes down when you're not making your pitches and you don't have your stuff. But when he has it, he's as good as anybody.
He likes to pitch inside.
That's one thing he's been doing also since he's been back, is he throws a 4-seamer and 2-seamer along with that cutter.
Pops that pitch up. Everybody a long way to go, but it's going to be Caballo. Carlos Lee, 1-2-3 inning for Glover. We go to the bottom of the ninth. We got to do some talking.
It's time right now. Let's have a look at our Toyota game summary as Cleveland has put 10 on the board on 15 hits. Sox 3 off of 6 hits. Jim Thome, his 29th and 30th home run. 6th season of 30-plus home runs. Canseco, a double, a single. Singleton, an RBI single, also a triple. Has 3 hits. And there's a pitching change. Richie Rodriguez has come on for the Indians. Left-hander. He's 2-2 with a 3.86 ERA in 31 games. Opponent's only hitting .236 against him. Has 22 strikeouts and 23 1/3, 21 hits, 1 home run, 10 base on balls. He's a fastball, curveball, slider, changeup pitcher.
So as he takes his warm-up tosses, let's pause for our station identification.
This is WGN Superstation.
Ken Harrelson, finale of this brief 2-game set with Cleveland. And a reminder, immediately following our ball game, it will be the WGN News. So the Indians took the opener last night, 9-4. So they scored 19 runs and picked up 25 hits in these 2 games as Jose Canseco will lead it off. Jose 2 for 3, a single, a double, and a run scored. Jose looks at ball 1. Tomorrow night, join us here at the ballpark. Festive evening. First of that 3-game set with Boston. The Miller Music Night. The kazoos and fireworks, and also Rocky Biddle against Hideo Nomo. Big hack by Hose. And the count 1-1. Oh, Hose, go for yourself right here. Get yourself a knock. 2-1.
Richie Rodriguez has had a nice solid career. 38-year-old out of Downey, California. Spent 3 years in San Francisco, 3+ in San Diego, a couple in St. Louis, a year in Florida, a little time last year with the Mets.
Change up, 3 balls and a strike.
The big Juan Gonzalez, who we didn't see in this series, hit on the wrist before coming to Chicago.
Yeah, I was very optimistic when Gonzalez was not in the lineup last night, as that's ball 4. Find out he may miss both games, which he did. Meanwhile, didn't work out that way.
No, and you see his offensive numbers in the American League. There's some guys that switch teams that have put up some serious numbers for their new bosses.
Here's Herbert. Been to the plate one time. He pinch hit for Jeff Leafer back in the 7th and went out to Marty Cordova in right field. Thome playing in his normal position. There's a base hit. Well, 2 on, nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th.
Saw those numbers from Gonzalez. And also guys like Brett Boone, Ichiro Suzuki, Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez, all of them have put up great numbers for their new teams.
Here's Konerko 0 for 2 with an RBI and a base on balls. That's in the dirt. Nice pick by Einar Diaz. 3 home runs in the game if you're just tuning in. 2 by Jim Thome, 1 by Marty Cordova. They went back to back in the third. Indians with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third, 4 in the eighth. Sox with singletons in the 5th, 6th, and 8th innings. And the count 2-0. The home plate jumping around. Oh, Rich Rodriguez. Give you that whole pitching setup matchup for the Boston series. We mentioned tomorrow night the Rockmeister, Rocky Biddle against Hideo Nomo. On Saturday, James Baldwin against Tomo Oko. And the finale of that 3-game set in this 5-game homestand, Kip Wells against Tim Wakefield.
Well, Rich Rodriguez has allowed 11 base on balls now in his 23+ innings.
All-speed pitch on a 2-0 count. Paulie way out in front.
Well, Rodriguez has had himself a solid career. Has a 3.86 ERA now. His career stats before this season, a 3.75 career ERA.
Hit hard. Watch out, Wallace. The ball was smoked. So the count evens at 2. In that Minnesota-Oakland game, Oakland hitting in the top of the 8th. They have scored a pair. Minnesota leading 9-6. That's out and around and hook foul. Rope hook. Keep it going, Paulie. Should be with these two guys. Rack 'em up. Second double play of the game turn. The other one came back in the first inning and quickly 2 out.
Well, Rodriguez helping himself out by inducing Konerko into his 11th double play of the season. I said it. Those guys up the middle, you already know it's pretty automatic.
Tony Graffinino will hit for Mark Johnson. Mark was 0 for 3 this evening. And if you're just joining us, Pirates beat the Cubs 3-2 in Pittsburgh. As that pitch taken downstairs. Atlanta beat Cincinnati 2-1. Cardinals over the Astros 4-1. Final now from Kansas City. Royals beat Seattle 6-3. This should do it. Vizquel, and this ball game is over. So the Indians come in here in this brief 2-game series against the Sox and just thumped our butts, winning 9-4 last night. They win this one 10-3, and we'll be back to wrap it up.